Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another ink comparison video, and this is a red inks comparison, and this is video number 1. So I think let's swab up some of these inks. So the first ink is an Akkerman ink, and this is Akkerman number 17, and it's Staten General Rood. So I think let's do an ink swatch. Now, this is an ink that I really haven't used a lot of, and I don't know why, because to me this looks like a really nice red ink. So this is Akkerman, and it is Staten General Rood. But that to me is a really nice red ink, and I think I'm actually going to have to ink that one up in a pen because that really is nice. The next ink is another Akkerman ink, and this is Akkerman Dutch Masters Scharlaken van Jan Steen. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now this, I have to say, is one of my favourite red inks, and it's an ink that I always come back to. It's just a very bright, punchy red ink. So this is an Akkerman Dutch Masters. So we'll put in Akkerman. I'm going to abbreviate it to Dutch Masters, and this is Scharlaken van Jan Steen. But this for me is quite a nice, punchy, vibrant red ink. The next red ink that I use quite a lot is Blackstone, and this is Uluru Red. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And I like this red because it's a little bit more of a darker red. Do a little bit more of a saturation there. So this is Blackstone, Uluru Red. But you can see the difference there between those three reds. There's quite a lot of difference. The next ink here is Diamine Merlot. Merlot as in wine. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And you can see that that is quite a dark red. So this is Diamine Merlot. The next ink is Montegrappa, and this is red. Now this is a new ink, so I don't know what this looks like, because I have not inked this one up before. It's a little bit on the dry side, I would say. Do a little bit more saturation here. Kind of reminds me a little bit of maybe Lamy Red to a degree. So this is Montegrappa Red. So again, we've actually really already got 5 different reds here. The next ink is Diamine Wild Strawberry. Now I do have to say that this is one of my favourite inks. Diamine Poppy Red also is a nice red as well. So we'll do an ink swatch here. You can see it's a very bright orangey red. So this is Diamine, and it's Wild Strawberry. But that is one of my favourite red inks that, to be honest, I haven't actually written with a lot recently. I tend to be going for more poppy red, but for me, that was one of the Diamine Reds that really sold me. The next ink is Lamy Red. Now, let's have a look. Now this actually, I said that Montegrappa Red I thought looked a little bit more like Lamy Red, but how could I be wrong? That is a huge difference there. At least that's how I remembered Lamy Red to be. So we'll do a writing sample. So this is Lamy Red. And then we have Montblanc Corn Poppy Red, and this is again one of my favourite red inks. So doing an ink swatch. But that is a very nice red. Bit of a punchy red, I find. So this is Montblanc Corn Poppy Red. And then the last ink is Pelikan Edelstein Ruby. So we're doing an ink swatch. You can see this is quite a wet, sort of very watery, I would say, ink. So this is Pelikan Edelstein Ruby. Not actually to be confused with Pelikan Edelstein Star Ruby. So let's take a look at these inks one more time. So we have Akkerman Staten General Rood, and this is quite a sort of strange red ink, but it's an ink that I need to actually try myself because this actually does look quite nice. It's a little bit more of a sort of a Bordeaux red, I would say. We have Akkerman Dutch Masters Scharlaken Van Jan Steen, and this is one of my favourite red inks. It's an ink that I use a lot in some of my Viscontis. Now, in terms of shading, there is actually quite a bit of shading here on the Staten General Rood and also on the Scharlaken Van Jan Steen. And then we have Blackstone Uluru Red, and I tend to actually have that inked up a lot more in my Classic Pens LM1, and that tends to be the ink that I will ink up in that quite a bit. Now, that does have a little bit of shading, but it's actually quite a dark red. And then we have Diamine Merlot, which really is a sort of wine-coloured ink, a red wine colour. And that doesn't have a lot of shading going on there. We then have Montegrappa Red, and Montegrappa Red, I actually like the look of this. Now there is a couple of little bits of shading going on here, but not a lot. But it's quite a nice red ink, I would say. And then we have Diamine Wild Strawberry, and that is one of my favourite red inks, and that is actually quite bright, quite strawberry-like, but also has quite a bit of shading going on. And then we have Lamy Red, and Lamy Red is actually quite a sort of a bright, sort of pinkish red, almost sort of pastel colour. And again, it's a red that I actually have been using quite a lot. It's not a red that probably I would normally go for, but it's a red that I have been using. And then Montblanc Corn Poppy Red is a really nice red. Now, this red, I actually do find that it turns out a lot brighter in some pens, certainly in some wet writing pens. Now that does have quite a bit of shading going on there. And then we have Pelikan Edelstein Ruby, not to be confused with Pelikan Edelstein Star Ruby. And that is actually, again, a nice red ink. So these are the comparison inks I have here today in this video. So that's my red inks comparison number 1 video. If there are any reds here that you like, then please let me know in the comments below. Also, if there are any red inks that I haven't featured yet, then do let me know, because I'm always on the lookout for other red inks. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.